Hello and welcome to another episode of Life Talks with me, Fawole. We have the wizard and the amazing Jody in the studio. I'm saying, listen, you need to know about this guy. This guy is a poet, he's an actor, he's an entrepreneur in his own right, wow. and he's an inspiration to a lot of people. So that is, he should have got the accolades beforehand, but the introduction went a bit topsy-turvy, but you know what we're dealing with. And we're going to unpack Jody here today. You're going to find some serious stuff out about a serious artist. You know what I'm saying? Jody, welcome to the studio. Now we can catch up. Yeah, one man. Good to see you. Come on. Jody, usually I start with how do we meet and how you know each other, but I want to elaborate on that myself.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I don't know if you remember. It was a
legacy.
Huh?
Doing the legacy, yeah.
You do remember?
Yeah, I remember, man. I remember you, of course. Yeah, 100.
I remember you.
Yeah, you were the tallest guy in the room. I remember thinking, damn, this guy's a giant.
Yeah,
I remember, man.
Fucking hell. And then for that, you thought I was the tallest guy in the room. You was the most polished.
Oh, wow.
The most profound, the most abstract, the most. You had the most gravitas. You hit the hardest. Everyone came here to do their thing, but you had worked on your craft, and I know you work on your craft, but also you naturally are a star for me.
Oh wow!
You're an artist. Like your bass is your bass in acting. We're gonna unpack this. Your bass in acting?
Based in Shepherd's Bush, White Sea.
No.
What acting?
Yeah,
my bad. Wordplay. Wordplay galore.
What's your base? Because you did poetry when I saw you.
Yeah, so how it all officially started was I originally started as a dancer. And then through dancing, I transitioned into acting.
Okay.
And then acting transitioned into writing.
Okay.
Writing transitioned into poetry.
Poetry, okay. So the reason I asked that is because when I saw you, people out there do poetry, and like I perform poetry as well. And there's different poets. There's spoken word artists, there's poets. There's people who do poetry for therapeutic reasons. Which is write the poetry at home. There's people who like yourself started off as a performer. So when someone who's a performer delivers their poetry, it's different to someone who's just kind of got into poetry.
Yeah,
it's not taking nothing away from anyone else, but you just like, I was captivated when you hit the stage.
Thank you, man.
You gave it to us,
Thank
like
you so
seriously.
much.
Like you told a story. There was gravitas, there was energy and everything. And it was just like, I was literally going back. And I was happy that I went to the event.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Damn, that means the world to me. That's what I try to accomplish with all my work. I really try to give people their money's worth. Even if it's a free event, I always try to give people their money's worth.
Yeah.
Because people have taken time out of their lives to come and watch new artists perform. So give them that energy. Give them that reason why they came out.
Yeah. So you see, you started dancing. So tell me about you. How did you? What was you like as a kid? What was you like as a kid? Like young kid?
As a kid, I would say as a kid, I was very shy. I was a very shy kid, very introvert, very much to myself. But shouts out to my mum, she just gave me the courage to explore avenues and just be myself. And when I was always that kid where if all the other kids my age were playing football, I was like, I'd much rather do this instead. Yeah. I still done that, but it was like, if you're playing football, I'd rather skateboard. If you're chasing girls, I'd much rather learn to dance. If you're doing whatever this is, taking drugs, I'd much rather do this. It was just who I was as a person.
Nice. Big up to your mum. What's your mum's name?
Francis.
Big up Francis. You raised a good one, Francis. Well done. So what you were saying, so when did you start dancing? Like what age?
I started dance probably around, I think around 6 or 7.
Nice.
6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think I got into it through watching the film Billy Elliot.
Nice.
Yeah, something about that film really captivated me, and it was a way for me just to get a lot of energy out. You know, my mum always knew that exercise was a big part, so she always tried to get me and my siblings to do something, whether that would be like karate or gymnastics, but something just to be athletic. And she just saw that I had a natural way to move my body, and I started taking classes. I was more or less self-taught in street dance, and then I transitioned into contemporary, and then I started to get into ballet. But then I damaged my ankle, so I could have had a very good career, in dance. I think even in ballet, but I damaged my ankle, and you know when you do it when people tell you how to dance, you don't want to do it much anymore. Like, it was more of a self-expression thing.
Yeah.
So
to move to stuff and
yeah, I went to like professional dance schools as a kid. I got scouted, but it just wasn't for me anymore. So that's when I got into skateboarding. And, yeah.
What's the difference between contemporary and ballet? Because
contemporary I would say it's a fusion. So it was a fusion of so the story goes that in like street dance was birthed from what I'm aware, it was birthed from New York dancers in the United States were going to dance schools, but they were being told how to move their bodies, so they'd rather take this style of dance and do their own thing with it. Contemporary is kind of like the middle ground of that. So you've got street, which is very urban, as you know, and then ballet, which is very traditional, and the middle ground would be the fusion of the two.
Yeah. So then, but in contemporary, okay, it's fusion of the two. Yeah, you're right. Because I've done contemporary as well. You didn't know, but they taught me.
You've done contemporary dance.
I've danced as well. Yeah, a bit like it's all about you today. But I will tell you. I'm not trying to run up you enough, but I've done I think jazz, contemporary, street dancing, Afro-Caribbean, and Lindy hop.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've done that back in the day. That's why I was curious, because I thought me doing contemporary, I thought I did ballet, but it's like you said.
No,
I
yes,
understand. That's why I asked that question.
It's a different thing, yeah.
It's a fusion, but I learned like first position, second position.
Yes, I learned that as well. Yeah.
I know those things in contemporary.
Yeah.
Like what was I gonna go next? So with the movement, like you said, you didn't like being told what to do with the movement. And when did that happen? That happened when you transitioned into
when I did
ballet.
No, so and the story goes, I was when I was a kid, there was where I live in like Shepherd's Bush, Hammersmith, there was a charitable event happening with a church, and I got pushed into a dance battle when I was a kid. Yeah, just someone pushed me in, and so I just battled this random guy, and there was people in the audience from, I think the name's Pineapple Dance Studio.
I know Pineapple.
Yeah, and they scouted me to come to their school. I done like 2 classes, but they were just telling me how to dance. They were telling me how to follow a routine, and I get it. Yeah. Like, if you want to be a backup dancer, this is all necessary. But for me, it was a self-expression thing. For me and my art in general, it's about how can I create something out of nothing. So when I'm told how to create, I get it if it's like constructive criticism, but if it's like, no, you have to do it A, B, and C, I'd much rather do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. It's just not who I am as a person. Yeah. So I was like, I told my mom, I'm fine, mom, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't like being told what to do. Yeah. And I get in life, you will have to be told what to do, but when it's in your control, like that was, and at such a young age as well, if I let people walk all over me now, then I'm going to let them do it in my entire life. So,
where do you fall in the hierarchy of your siblings, and how many siblings do you have?
Technically, I've got 5, but 3 unfortunately are no longer with us. So that's fine. And they all passed away before I was born, so it happens. But my older brother and then my older sister, so I would be the youngest.
Okay, youngest. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So when you decided not to do the dance, what was the next? What was next for you?
Next.
What was you like? I'm not gonna dance. I want to do this because you got tenacity about you. You've got a definite character. You're not gonna.
Thank you.
You're gonna do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Welcome, but it's you. It's you. It's for you since you was young.
Yeah, I've definitely got a mindset of like, if I know I want to do something, I want to do that. I focus on nothing but that. It's probably because I'm on the autistic spectrum. It's my Asperger's, so that's my like thing. Okay. After dance, I was always a big film fan. Always, like, I was a huge film fanatic as a kid.
What's your favorite movie?
Bro, come on, man. Yeah. All right. So there's a film that kind of I put it down to a couple films. The first film is the one that birthed my imagination. Right. There's a film that I can always go back to for its rewatchability, and then there's one where I'm just like, now that's a movie.
Go on.
So the first one that birthed my imagination would be Spielberg's Hook with Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman.
Not very well.
Yeah, that's a great film. Like, it's such a cult classic movie. Everything about it birthed my imagination. That's the foundation. That's where it starts for everything for me.
What's your favorite character from that film?
Rufio, man, just a badass guy, man.
Is he like the kind of Asian looking guy?
Yeah, Filipino, but yeah, Rufio, played by Dante Brasco, who's actually also a poet.
Yeah, okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. But
Yeah,
I
he's a
remember the film. I like the film. Like, what's funny, yeah, is I know you're honestly a film buff. You
Oh
love
yeah,
films
huge
because
film.
if you ask a film buff what's your favourite film, like this fella over here, you can't answer that
Can't.
question. There isn't
Yeah.
one film you
Because
can
like,
answer.
oh, there's a film of like which year, which director, which this, which that. There's so many different ways to view it.
Which
But-
mood, which energy, which one
Exactly.
at the time what invoked in you. Like, so yeah, I get it. But go on.
So, Hook, where it starts, the films for rewatchability would be Shutter's Island, which is
Shutter Island.
yeah, which
with
is
DiCaprio.
DiCaprio, Mark Ruffalo, directed by Scorsese.
Why?
I think it goes into my writing now as well. There's an intricacy to it. There's more than one twist. There's a layeredness to it. There's a layeredness to the characters.
Yeah.
There's a layeredness to why they're doing this.
Yeah.
There's a layeredness to the editing, to the music. Everything is so intricate with that film.
Yeah.
There's more than one thing going on at it.
I couldn't watch it.
You can watch it.
No, I'm scared of horrors, right?
Really? You?
Yeah, and I know it's not. Is it horror? I don't think it's not.
No.
I know everyone's telling me it's not a horror, right?
It's a thriller, if anything.
But yeah, but when they showed the what do you call it, the advert and all that, and the fact it's on the island,
Yeah.
and it's like there's certain scenes, and my imagination like
Just
once
goes away.
Yeah, once
Yeah,
I've
that's
watched the
fair.
scene,
That's
once
the
the
point,
scene's gone,
though.
like-
That's why I film. That's the point.
Yeah, I don't want to be scared, man. So I didn't
Fair.
I didn't watch it, but I regret. I might be able to go and watch it now.
Yeah, go.
Everyone's told me it's a really good film, and even like you're breaking it down now, but I always thought it was a horror, and I was like, nah.
No. It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But it's great. It's great. Like you'll watch it, and then when you get to the end, you'll be like, wait, what? And you'll want to go back just to find out like how did everything connect to that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Nice.
love. That's what I really love. I've actually got a tab on my computer for the novel. I want to buy the novel. That's how much I.
Well, oh, Shutter Island novel.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's based off a novel, so I really want to read it just to see like the whole story. Because when you make a movie of a novel, they leave certain bits out. So I want to see everything for what it's.
It's not descriptive, is it?
Exactly.
It's not descriptive. So
So
go on,
that's
what movie you got?
the second one for rewatchability would be American Gangster. Yeah, a great film.
It's a good film.
Yeah, Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe. Oh, the cast in that, Josh Brolin, RZA, isn't that Chiwetel Ejiofor, Ridley Scott, like good director of Gladiator. That to me is a phenomenal movie about like the birth and the whole crack epidemic, heroin epidemic in New York at that time. It's an incredible story. So yeah, and I always go back to it. There's always clips I go back to on YouTube.
Favorite scene?
Favorite scene would be oh god, I would say the interrogation scene at the end where Denzel was talking about, Frank Lucas is talking about like how the police came up to his house, put a shotgun shell deep into his cousin's mouth and blew it. Look, I don't give a fuck about no police. Then can I swear? Can I curse?
Yeah, of course you can swear. It's your mouth.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about.
I certainly swear when there's a load.
Cool, sweet, fuck, shit, balls, ass, cunt, fuck, yeah.
Not like that, but yeah, I swear.
Let's go, let's get cancelled.
Fucking hell, you get some. Get in there, boy.
Get in out there.
Go on, then.
Yeah. Oh, I sour no. But yeah, when he like puts a shotgun shell in the head and blew, that hits the coffee cup. That's a great scene because it really gives you an idea of the internal intention of this character. Like he is driven by pain and power and money, and it's a great scene.
Yeah.
So
You
that
know what I like about that scene?
gone.
When Russell Crowe lets him do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And when he does it,
And
he just
passes it over.
No,
It's
he
like-
doesn't, he pushes it. He just slides it
Slides
over.
over,
the
yeah.
ball.
It's subliminal. It's like he's saying the ball's back in your court now. That it's all up to you. You can. It's no spoiler. You can make this decision and you can rot, or you can do this and maybe be good. That's a very good film. Very good film.
Yeah.
And there's such a good
Great
cast,
scenes.
man.
Yeah.
Great cast in that film. Fun fact about that film: apparently Josh Brolin, he was in a point in his career where he wasn't getting as many acting gigs.
Who was in that film?
He was
he the
detective.
junkie?
No, he was detective.
Oh no, it was the crooked one.
Yeah, the crooked one. The main one.
His car got
Back
blew up.
hair.
And he nicked the money from under the doghouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Detective something. But yeah, he got paid only like $60,000 for that film, which is like in the film world, when you take into consideration your agent's percentage, all of the other percentage, you're only walking away with like 20,000, which is still a lot, but
It's a
for
good
that
film.
time,
He done good in that film as
yeah,
well.
that elevated his career.
Yeah.
Without that film, he probably wouldn't have gone on to be in No Country for Old Men or play Thanos. So, yeah.
He was Thanos.
He was Thanos. He was the voice of Thanos. He
I
was.
didn't know he was Thanos.
Yeah,
I think he's a good actor myself.
Yeah.
I think he's a good actor.
Yeah. So yeah, that film phenomenal. So those two for rewatchability, and then the one where I watched it and I was like, it opened up my mind just to the subject matter and a certain actor, which this actor is my biggest inspiration. I would say the film would be. This is gonna real left field now.
Come on.
A real left field.
Because you know, you're sitting with movie buffs right here. You
because
know.
when I say this film, a lot of people are like, that film, really?
Yeah, don't worry.
And like, it makes people question who I am as a person, but it's purely for its artistry.
Cool.
But the film would be Ang Lee's Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, it's
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, people always say, "Oh, it's a film about gay cowboys." No, it's a film about love that couldn't be in a time in America.
Yeah.
It's a tragic love story,
Yeah,
and the way
yeah,
it's
yeah.
captured, it's so phenomenal. It's like watching poetry unfold.
Yeah.
It's such a good film.
And so for me, I haven't personally watched it.
Cool.
Same, I haven't watched Shutter Island. I can't say why I haven't watched it. Like
It's just one of those things you just haven't. It's not on your radar to watch.
no, it's on my radar.
Okay.
Put it in my radar. Put it in my radar. There's other films on my radar that I just haven't watched as well. Like I'm not homophobic, so it's not because of that. It's just I don't even know why I haven't watched it up till now because Heath Ledger and
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, amazing actors.
Yeah.
Amazing actors individually and collectively, they're amazing actors. And I know that film, the things that they accomplish and challenge,
Yeah.
was serious.
Yes, very
I've
serious.
done a gay film. I played a gay man in a film with a love interest and all of that. So it's not none of that. It's like I just don't know why I haven't seen it, but I understand why you would say it's a great film.
It's probably the same predicament with me and The Godfather. I've never seen The Godfather.
Never.
1, 2, 3. I know clips. I've seen clips. I know when I do watch it, I know there's a certain scene I've seen a clip of which I love.
Yeah.
But people have hyped the film up so much that I'm like, what's the point in watching it?
I think you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It was like, and I hate that.
Yeah,
In a
you
movie buff,
ruined-
I hate that when there's so much. Everyone's watching film this
Exactly.
and everyone's talking about it. I don't want to see it.
Ruins the anticipation of what's to come.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
why ruin it? Like, yeah, it just ruins the anticipation. I will watch it. It's on my to watch list. I will watch it before I die.
Yeah.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
But it's, Brokeback Mountain for me. It was
I
like,
think I'll have to take that in as well. I'll have
Yeah.
to have a butcher's. 'Cause
Check it out.
I didn't want to watch, like I think at least 4 or 5 years. It took me 4 or 5 years to watch Game of Thrones. My
Fair,
friend
same.
had watched it and he was just going on and on and on about it.
Yeah,
I was like,
same.
I'm not watching that. He was like going on. He was like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. But then when I watched it,
Yeah, you got
it
it.
got me as
Yeah,
well. Yeah, I
same.
understand why, but I refused to watch it. I actually I point blank refused to watch it.
Yeah, I was the same. It took me a while to watch Game of Thrones, and then my friend said, at the time, my friend said, "Yo, just watch the first episode. Trust me, watch the first episode." I was like, "Alright, cool." Sat down, watched it. I was like, okay, I get it. I get what you mean. So, so the films which are like pure poetry in my eyes would be a collection of Heath Ledger roles. Heath Ledger to me is he's my James Dean.
Name him. I love his
Name
films
him.
too.
So
Name him.
it would be in a chronological order. It would be Brokeback Mountain, and then from that he played a film called Lords of Dogtown, where he played.
I haven't seen it.
Lords of
Dogtown.
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 Yeah, it's a
Lords of
skateboarding bio about Team Zephyr from Dogtown in California. It's it's
called?
Lords of Dogtown.
Lords of Dogtown.
Yeah, and Heath Ledger plays essentially an alcoholic skateboard manager who's in out of his depth, and it's a phenomenal portrayal. It's you watch it and there's certain bits in it and you're like, future Joker, like the way he's just moving.
You can tell.
You can tell like there's more to this guy, and then after that, he goes on to play the Joker. So it was those 3 films, like because the transition of the characters, he went from playing a closeted homophobic cowboy to playing an alcoholic skateboard manager to playing a psychotic clown. The dynamic in that is insane. Like that's real talent, and he done it all before the age of 30.
I remember for Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
Which I rate him for those other roles. I haven't seen Brokeback Mountain. I haven't seen the one you just said, but I've seen him play the Joker.
Yeah.
However, he could have easily gone down the pretty boy.
Exactly,
Kind
yeah.
of like
He
I'm
even
gonna do this,
stated that
like
himself.
Like certain people just do the pretty boy films. Just be that. Just like bit like Keanu on certain things, like, but he challenged himself.
He challenged. There's
I've got to give him that as well.
There's actually a quote I live by. It's one that I've come up with. It's if you're not willing to challenge your talents, why have them? You need to challenge your talents in order to grow. If you're not doing that, then what's the point? So Heath Ledger, Keanu Reeves, these are men that know they're good at what they do, but they want to go against the grain so they can get even better at what they do. And that's, to me, I salute that. That's bravery. It takes a lot of courage. Especially with Heath Ledger, like he was in a position where he could have been the pretty boy.
No, he could have just got paid.
Exactly, he could have got that money and lived happily ever after. But no, he wanted to challenge himself.
Yeah.
He directed music videos. He was a photographer. He wrote poetry. He was a very talented man. He was an artist.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
man.
rest in peace to him. So that's my like James Dean. That's my
yeah. People go and research James Dean because you know about he was an icon from back in was he 60s,
50s, 60s. Yeah, passed away.
I fucking love James Cagney as well. So
James Cagney,
James Cagney was a fucking man. But let's talk about you. Because don't about them. Let's talk about you. So, what was your first role as an actor?
What
do you remember?
My first role, probably a school play.
Yeah.
I probably played
good. Good.
Some type of school play, like I was probably like pizza delivery boy 2, whatever, something random.
Yeah.
But I would say my first
actually speaking role, you can remember definitively.
There was a lot, but there's one that always resonates with me. Was I was studying performing arts in college, and I was asked to play the lead in a play called The Metamorphosis, which is by a writer called Franz Kafka, and
don't know it.
It's a great play. It's a metaphor for going insane. Essentially, this young boy called Gregor Samsa. He is the sole provider of his family, and he overnight he basically transforms into this bug, and it serves as a metaphor. And when my director at the time wanted me to do it, and he knew I had a background in dance, he wanted me to really get into a physical embodiment of it, and it was great because I worked really hard for it.
Yeah.
I was the time when I was like, this is it. It was like I was like playing Gollum. It was great. It was a really physical, wonderful journey. And like when I'd done it, I felt like it. When you do stuff and you feel like you've kind of leveled up in a sense. When I'd done that, I felt like I really leveled up as an artist. I was like,
nice.
This is what performing is.
What age was you?
Probably 17, 18. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the most memorable one. And of course, there's like other plays. Like I done Christmas Carol. I done an.
You didn't play Scrooge, did you?
No. I played his cousin, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I played multiple roles. But I played his cousin. I done an amateur production at the Lyric Theatre.
Of what?
George Orwell's 1984.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Yeah. I've got it on my shelf.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet, but I've got it on my shelf.
Great.
I can't lie.
It's so poignant for today in society.
Yeah.
There's so much that connects with it. It was ahead of its time, and will always be ahead of its time. But yeah, there's multiple plays I've done, but 1984 and Metamorphosis are the ones that really stick.
Cool. When have you knocked it out of the park for yourself? Like, because for me as an actor, because I acted as this is why we click, or this is why I've got admiration for you. This is why this goes on, because you've gone 1, 2, 3. I've gone 1, 2, 3, but no one's the same. You're 1, 2, 3, like a snowflake is your 1, 2, 3, but your 1, 2, 3 was dancing, acting, poetry. You're still acting as well. You probably still do moving as well, even though you've got the injury. Same as me, dancing, acting, poetry as well.
Triple threats.
That's why. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, triple threats.
Come on.
I'm trying to make it. What is it when it's not a quadruple when it's 5? Quintuple?
Wizard, come on, no.
There's double, quadruple.
Do some work back there.
There's something.
Well, yeah, or Google it then. At least do that, and then find out what it is for us.
If I would, I could really show it from the poetry scene and be like, no, I'm like a quintuple threat. I could fuck around.
Okay, let's unpack that because we're gonna go back into the thing. I don't think you should hold back. I don't think anyone should hold back.
No, yeah.
I don't think I've been guilty of that. I don't think anyone should hold back. And sometimes you feel, I don't know. This is me talking. I can't talk for you. I feel like I don't want to grandstand and like make someone who's come there with a certain feeling and stuff just feel like they can't do what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Cause like literally, I believe I could shine like a motherfucking star, like in Stardust. I swear I could. What's Gwyneth Paltrow? I swear I could do that. But it's your job, and it's my job to do that.
Yeah, but in doing that, you could also inspire that person.
Yeah.
And the other person that does feel a bit shy. I mean.
So do the quintuple thing.
Yeah.
Do it, and
So,
I believe you did it when you. I'm gonna get a poem out of you here today,
cool.
and I want to stand back because your light's bright and people will understand what I mean when you start doing your poetry.
Cool.
But I believe you for me, you did it, and if you're telling me that you haven't even really opened the whole door, like you haven't opened the whole chest, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Basically,
like, serious.
We'll get into it a bit later of what the entire opening door looks like for me.
Yeah.
We'll get into it later. We'll talk about it.
Cool.
Can I ask, what was the piece I done at the Lunar Legacy?
It was a mental health piece. You was talking, but you was in you was talking like 2 or 3 different characters, at least 2 or 3 different. You know, there was how long ago was it?
That was like 3 years ago. Probably.
See, it's a little way away, and there's been like there's loads of stuff in here. But I remember you was having I don't know if you having a conversation with yourself or with another person, but there was more than one character in it. But you never held back.
Yeah.
If the character was gonna scream, you screamed. If the character was gonna cry, you cried. You know, like people when we do poetry, people will say, "And I felt low," but you don't know I felt every single emotion from you when you did it. You didn't care about whether there was 1 person or 100 people in the room. You went ape shit as far as I'm concerned. You went for it. You was performing like you was on performing at the National Theatre. But we was in a room with just poets, like not brilliant poets.
We went speakeasy, underground essentially.
Yeah, and it was, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I had so much admiration, because I know, sorry to keep pointing at you, because you're excited, innit? So I know like what I can do and how I am, but I also know how sometimes I kind of dumb things down sometimes because of my own personal fears, inhibitions, worrying about what people will think and stuff like that. That's slowly being eradicated. But I saw you on stage coming up, and I met you before you performed and everything, and you was cool as hell. And there was nothing to let me know what was coming out of your pocket. And I see other people when they think they've got something good, and I'm not belittling no one, I hate to belittle anyone, but they think they've got something good, or there's a lot of bravado and a lot of egos in poetry, and people think they're bad, but
I call that people giving a bravo to their bravado.
What's that?
People giving a bravo to their bravado.
Yeah, and you see, don't just let the art speak for itself.
Exactly.
And you did. Yeah. And that's what it was for me. I was not prepared for what I saw when you performed. That's all I'm saying. It's like you went into the character. I don't know if it was you was telling yourself, there was some, I can't remember what the piece was, but it was deep, man.
Was it a poem called Autistic Artistic?
I think it was something, I remember I said it was about...
I think I know the piece, yeah.
It was serious, bro.
Thank you.
And I identified with it. No, thank you. I identified with it, and then not only identified with it, I'm telling you, mate, I'll jump off the table and fucking hug you, mate. Because that stuff makes me be able to do what I want to do. You know, not have any fear, because if you're doing it, why should I be scared to do it? Like, and show whatever my side is. Like, it's not this, but just let it go. If I was gonna cry, just fucking cry. Who cares? You're gonna scream if you're gonna scream, and do it. Yeah, and do it.
Yeah.
And like, I swear to God, Jody, every time you perform, it's the same thing. You've got your own tenacity. You are who you are, but you don't hold back on the stage. And I love and I admire it. That's why you're sitting across the table with me right now. That's why you've been on my show. You're welcome to come back again. Like, I admire you. There's other people that I admire, but I fucking admire your stuff. But where was that? I digress now.
It's cool. It's cool, man.
Where was we? You talking about your poem, the one that you did I first saw you doing. So you transitioned from dance to acting. So when you got into acting, what was it that made you change over? No, what was your definitive moment acting? That's what I was saying. What was your like moment when you did it? And you come off stage and you felt good, because there's different, like theatre or film, there's different things. When I don't want to talk about me, I want to talk about you. You know, when you've done something, it may be in front of 3 people. You might have been rehearsing in your room. It might have been on stage, but you know when you nail it.
Yeah, I know I've nailed it when, you know when you go to the gym.
And for you nailed it.
When I've nailed it, know when you go to the gym and you like lift until failure, yeah. When you're completely just exhausted.
I know, I understand.
That's when, because performing for me it's like going to the gym mentally.
Yeah.
It's getting, pardon the pun, it's getting a load off. Like, like just wherever that bullshit is in the back of my head, getting that off. That's when I know I've done a proper performance. When I remember I performed at a Says event about last year. Says event. Do you know of it? Brixton Says. It's a poetry event.
No,
it's a
baby in the poetry
okay.
world.
It's a event run by a lovely lady called Memo Brown.
Memo Brown.
Yeah,
is it still going on now?
Yeah, it's still going on.
Right, cool, I'll check
This
that
was
out.
probably the last time
Says event.
I done a poetry event where I was like, yeah, that was good.
Memo Brown.
Yeah.
You're going.
And my friend told me, you were like an avalanche of emotions, and I think that's the best way, when I just hit you with that raw shit essentially. Yeah. And when I'm off stage, I'm exhausted. I rarely ever drink, but when I get off stage and I need a glass of red wine just to relax, that's when I know I've done a good job.
Yeah. So let's talk about you being on the spectrum, because that in itself, I think will. This is just my interpretation as well. I can't. How does that help you in the acting? Because being acting, you get to just, like go in. They say people with different people on the spectrum with different levels of autism or their condition, they may be lacking in one thing, or they may have challenges in one thing, but then other thing, yeah. And I believe you excel in your performances. How does that work for you? Like, how does it work for you? If that's even a question.
What do you mean? How does it work for me?
Okay,
like,
so when did you realise, like Rain Man, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
So just sorry, like Rain, I love fucking Rain. Like Rain Man would be like, you didn't know, but then when he got to the thing, he was like, yeah, he started counting stuff. You would look at a piece and like you might not be doing what the guys are doing over there. You don't want to skateboard, you don't do this, but you look at a piece and you're giving it, like you said, you're giving it 1,000,000%. If they're screaming, you're screaming. They're crying, they're crying. If there's a bit of silence, you'll be quiet. And then you'll go bang. Do you get me? You give it what it's supposed to have without the inhibitions, like without the holdback that another actor or another person might not do, without the direction. For me, your performances are at the park. So yeah, how does that? Is there a question there even?
I think what you're asking me, how do I do it?
Yeah, or how does it feel for you? Because it's like, okay, let me put it into context for myself. I could talk to people and I talk a lot and do a lot of different other things. But when I'm able to become another character, it's lovely because I can let go and be that character, and it's no longer Io. And I can be whoever that person is and be like, I've been like Prince Ischilus in Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, nice.
Like, rebellious subjects, enemies to peace.
Nice.
The feelings of, like, and you give it and you can go. And I'm focused as hell. And there's nothing else. There's nothing else. Everything just fades away. Other things, there's still stuff coming in. But when it's certain things, I like dancing as well. It's so therapeutic.
Yeah.
I could just be in the party and just be dancing. I don't need no one. I could just dance. I'll dance all fucking night.
Yeah.
And then the expression of the contemporary with the street, and like just elevating your hands and just certain movements, they just feel lovely in the body because of certain things that are going on that I can't. But because you've got you're on the spectrum, that sort of expression becomes it just tastes better. It's just
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm answering the question, but
I don't think you are.
am I? I'm not. I'm just excited about that. Okay.
Does it help you in any way? Have you found any benefits?
Thank you.
I think it does help me because when you're autistic, you're just naturally hyper-focused. So there's always that one subject, like you said with Rain Man. His one subject that he was hyper-focused on was numbers, was being a mathematician, essentially. With others, there's a lot of people throughout history that are on the spectrum that have that one subject. For example, there's one that going around that Eminem is on the spectrum. Apparently he's got Asperger's, and I think we all know what he's really good at. He's really good with words.
I know my question now.
What? Yeah, go on.
I know my question now. Do you think because you're on the spectrum, that's why you're so good at what you do?
Yes.
That was the question.
For sure.
That was the question.
Most definitely. I think it's a mixture.
Got there in the end.
I think it's a mixture between having actual passion towards performing. Like I knew I wanted to perform since I was a kid. I loved playing charades. Like, even though I was a very shy kid, I just liked performing. I don't know why. It was just naturally intuitive for me. It was like, oh, this makes sense. And then because I'm on the spectrum, it's like it's like a legal steroid in a sense. It pushes me that even more. So I can really focus in on the small details. That's what I really like about writing or any form of performing. Like, it's easy for me to write a poem about, say, about mental health, but how can I really convey it in a performance that's gonna level it up? Like, it's to go back to what you said earlier about people who just say the words and just speaking it. I wouldn't call myself a spoken word poet. I'd call myself a performance poet. There's a significant difference. People that do spoken word just get up and it's like AMSR or whatever it's called. Like, they just say it. That's cool. But me, no, it's a performing aspect. I want to bring it to life. I want to give it a new energy. Like, make its own thing, its own project. It's like a short film, a short story. This is a short play. This is a monologue, essentially. So that's what I try. So yeah, it definitely helps. Definitely. And when I was diagnosed with my autism, I thought my original thought process was, lack there of a better term, retard. I thought I was an idiot, but it's because I just wasn't educated in it. But when I took time away and learned about it more, on the historical figures and the benefits and the cons and the pros, this ultimate curse turned into my gift. It was like, okay, cool. There's something natural here for me. There's something for me to really gauge into and focus on, and even help people. Dare I say?
How did you find out? How did you get tested?
So when I was a kid, I was diagnosed with dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, which are three.
Say that again, please.
Dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dyscalculia. So
dyslexia and dyscalculia.
So dyslexia is the most common one that everyone knows, to do with reading, writing, like blurry words, all that, difficulty spelling, difficulty writing, handwriting. Dyscalculia is essentially dyslexia but with numbers. So it's the same thing but numbers. And dyspraxia is hand-eye coordination and balance. I was diagnosed with all these things, which is funny because I danced. So that was like how I managed to work on my balance, because it was a natural, like I said, when people were going doing this, I'd rather go and do this. And because of that, I turned it into my greatest strength.
It's so interesting for me, like, because I identify with so much of the things you're saying. And I try not to perpetually, when I'm interviewing somebody, when they're telling me something, and I know I've done the same thing, watching my repertoire, certain things, I try not to like, oh yeah, I did, oh yeah, I did. But I can't help but like go back to the fact of I danced, but then when I was told to learn certain routines, it was like I could go up and do and move around and dance, but when it was a routine, I didn't want to do it. It became harder.
Yeah.
And so that was probably why you didn't want to be told what to do, or
well, it didn't. No, I could have done it easily, but I just wasn't free. That was the main thing. Like I felt like I was in a ball and chain. Like I felt constricted. Like no, like the whole point of art is to be free, is to fly, it's to be you, it's to be your authentic self. How can you be your authentic self when you're being told how to be something? It just makes no sense. It's a contradiction in its own right. So, yeah, that was that.
So when you was diagnosed with it, what kind of help was you given? How did you? So you was diagnosed in school?
Yeah, I was diagnosed in school.
And the school initiated the tests and all that for you?
My mum fought for a diagnosis, from what I can recall. Like,
big up Leslie. It's Leslie, right?
No, it's Francis. Way off.
Sorry.
Way off. Leslie.
Sorry, Francis. I mess up names. Go through some of the film other episodes. You know I mess up names.
That's
sorry, Francis.
Great timing.
Sorry.
It's cool. It happens. It happens. Yeah, shouts out Leslie. No, so she fought for me to get a diagnosis because mums know best. She just knew, and she has severe dyslexia herself, so she just knew. And then I got diagnosed, and they were like, right, so your son is this, and this, and they basically, in a very professional way, said your son won't ever survive in society, which is crazy. Your son's like essentially too stupid to be normal. Like, that I always think about that scene in Forrest Gump where the doctor shows Forrest Gump's mum like a piece of paper and like a line like, your son's just below average. That was me. Like, I'm below average. I'm probably even further down. And my mum didn't agree with that. I know I was doing my year 6 exams, SATs as it was called, and I ended up having a panic attack because whatever they taught me in school, it was in one ear and out the other. I just didn't know how to read, didn't know how to write. I was completely lost. And I ended up leaving the classroom crying my eyes out because I couldn't answer the first question. The first question was name. A very simple 4-letter word, Jody. I couldn't spell it.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of sparked my journey into mental health later in adulthood. Because when you're a kid, knowing you can't spell your name, that's going to do a lot of damage, a hell of a lot of trauma. So my mum thought it'd be best that she takes me out of school and try homeschool me.
What age was that, sorry?
Homeschool me.
No, what age was that?
I was probably 10 to 11 years of age.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can talk more about it. What would your advice be to parents or anyone who may be in the same predicament?
God,
as your mum was in?
So it's difficult to say because at that time, dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, autism, these were still very new. It was even more so non-existent. So right now, luckily, there's more avenues to choose from. There's a lot more focus on them. So to any parents that has a son like that,
Or daughter.
yes, thank you, and any son or daughter like that, just really focus on them and ask them what they want to do. Like have a really good conversation with them. Like kids aren't stupid. They absorb. They're like sponges. They absorb so much. And if you see your child struggling, just go through it with them yourself.
And I would say, on top of what Jody said, which is beautiful, like it's your duty as a parent to know your child.
Yeah.
You've born a child in the world. A lot of people, we're very busy in today's day and age, but you have to know your child. Don't let somebody else label your child or anything. Get to know your child, understand your child, and you'll understand the best thing for them. And if they actually need help in certain areas, you can facilitate that or ask for that help. It's important, it's imperative. Even if your life's busy, you're chasing money, you're trying to feed them, all that, you have to get to know your child so you can understand what they need. And only you're going to be able to give it to them or fight for it for them. Please make sure you do that.
And like,
Jody, sorry.
I mean, now that I'm adult, I don't have any like grievances towards my teachers because now I've matured a lot, and I think back at it and I'm like, in a class of 20 kids and one is failing, you've got a responsibility to the other 19. Like, that's just facts. It is. There's all. Unfortunately, we do live in a society where one kid will fall and they might not get back up. But it's imperative that we do our utmost to help that child get back up.
Yeah. I mean, no, not taking away from what you said, but I think if you're in a class, the teacher's got a responsibility.
Yeah.
All of you.
No, she's got.
Stop being of
of course.
All of you. You know what I mean? Not responsibility, but I think they need for all of you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they see that, they should try.
No, yeah, they should at least try.
Rather than just pigeonhole
Yeah,
you.
and that's what I feel like they didn't do. They just didn't try. But when you look into other factors like how much teachers are getting paid and stuff like that, it's very difficult. Yeah. And I didn't go to a private school. I went to just a normal, like, what is it, state school? Like, White went to a normal school in White City. Like, it is what it is. But hey, look at me now.
You're still yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Doing pretty well.
Come on. I'm going to get kicked that time. I never went before. Come on. So, where are we going now?
My diagnosis with autism. So I was diagnosed with all that, left school, my mum homeschooled me, tried her best, even though she has severe dyslexia, tried to teach me to read and write, but for the most part, I would say I kind of taught myself to read and write just by looking at the back of VHSs and DVD covers. That's how I learned, taking it one word at a time. Because I was watching movies. The only thing I'd done, I was a visual learner. The only thing I'd done as a kid was watch movies. I'd watch 3 movies to 4 movies a day. That's how I would learn. That's all I'd want to escape into. I'm
going to ask you what kind of movies afterwards, but keep
going.
Going. Sorry, not now.
Cool. That's what I would escape into. So I think that really, really helped. And the fact that my mum was very open to letting me just watch movies because she could see that I was a visual learner, so she just allowed it. Yeah, very, very brave woman to just allow her kid to be like that. Yeah, Francis.
Francis.
I
got it right. That's fantastic. So,
and then my diagnosis with autism, I went to college, studied acting, performing arts, all that. Auditioned for like the leading drama schools in the country. Got to the final round for one of them, and then didn't get in, which was
one?
Lambda.
How was that for you?
So the London Academy of Music.
No, I know what it is.
No, for those who don't know.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, tell them again. Lambda.
London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. Actors like Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Sam Claflin, Dominic Cooper.
I think
big
all so
names.
clicky though, man.
Yeah.
Like all of them are clicky. Like I think the Poor School, Lambda, Radar, all these places, they churned out some good actors. They done some good
Yeah,
things.
they do.
But they had like almost they had gate holders and key holders, and
Yeah.
if you didn't fit into their criteria, it was hard for you to
course.
get a leg up.
Yeah.
Back in the days, easier now.
It's
Back
a
in the day-
little bit easier now, but still not as much, I would say.
Yeah,
There's-
once you come out of them places, you're almost guaranteed work.
Yeah, because there's a lot of nepotism, favoritism, classism.
Was that real cool? Or was that because you
Yeah,
said
no, I
that?
was pissing around.
My man.
Yeah. There's a lot of that BS that goes on. But yeah.
Fuck him anyway. You're here now.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about that.
So that was a big hit, not getting in, because I felt like I put a lot of pressure on myself. Like, oh, this is my chance. Like, I'm gonna help my mum. I'm gonna help my family. I'm gonna get out of this. Didn't happen. So I had to go to a theatre school, which I won't mention because I have a lot of hatred towards this place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of hatred, because this is when mental health really birthed within me.
Okay.
Because of stuff like love and classism. Like, people were classist towards me because I was the working class boy from a single mother background.
So upper class kind
Yeah, a
of
lot of them
place.
work a little bit upper class and like
I went to
stuck their nose up at me a bit.
Anna Shears.
No,
You don't know Anna Shears? You don't know Anna Shears?
no. I probably, if I see a picture.
Nice, alright. Because we was in the hood. It was good.
Okay,
Good
cool.
coming in. But yeah, so you went in there. How did it unfold for you first?
What do you mean by love, though? You said love.
Yeah, so there was a girl. There's always a girl. Always a bloody girl. Always a girl. I would say this was probably my first, like, I you know when you love someone so much, but you're like infatuated with them. There was that. It was like I was very infatuated with this girl because I felt like she could see me for who I was, and yeah.
Let you down.
All right,
Oh.
Broke your heart, did she?
Yeah. So you know the poem Artistic? That's what it's about. It's about her.
How long was that poem?
That's like, it was 8 minutes, but I think I've got it down to like 6.5.
Because I remember it was a long poem.
Yeah.
We might be able to slip that in.
If I remember it, man, shit.
No. We'll might have to slip it in if
Cool.
we've got some like any.
I might have performed it at your event.
Is that what you performed at my event?
I think so. I might.
You went in. Did you do more than one poem, didn't you?
I done like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he did more than one.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the thing is, it's all documented.
Mm-hmm.
So when that's released, because that's the part behind the mic, the event that he's talking about. And when it's released, because everything was videoed and it will come out chronologically on the same channel that Live Talks is on.
Cool.
So hopefully it should be out before this is out, actually. Because I'm trying to get all them episodes out because we're into a new season now of Live Talks, of The Pipe Behind the Mic.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you performed it there, and where am I going? So the love and the mental health. The
mental health, love, and I felt like I was stuck. I didn't know where I was going with my life. I started to get really angry at myself, and that place, they had a bar. It was like £1 a pint, so I started drinking excessively. Not good, and it was just like, I didn't grow up with my dad, so I didn't have anyone to like talk to about all this stuff, and it was just an implosion of just self-hatred. And yeah, just basically I tried to kill myself. That was
Sorry
it.
to hear that.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm glad you didn't succeed.
No. I tried to commit suicide, and then my mum could tell that she didn't know I was doing this stuff, but she could tell I was going through it. So she decided to take me to see some type of therapist through the NHS, and then that's when I found out I was like autistic. They diagnosed me like with your dyslexia, dyscalculia, being depressed, and you're hyper focused and you love this. It makes sense for you to be on the spectrum.
Okay, so that's when because that's when it all came out. When,
Yeah.
when you start having a mental
exactly.
mental breakdown.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know this, but mental health issues, whether that's depression, anxiety, anything of that nature, is very common with autism and being artists in general. So yeah, that's when they kind of put the two and two together.
And so you had therapy for this?
Yeah, therapy, anger management, the whole 9 yards. Like, like how you watch films or documentaries where like you see like grown men sitting in a circle talking about their emotions. That was me. I was like the youngest. I was in a room with like, I'd done an 8-week intensive course with men who were like in their like late 30s, 40s, 50s, angry motherfuckers. And I was like the youngest person in that room. It was a real big life lesson. Really big. I remember like,
beneficial.
beneficial. I remember there being this guy, like I was so angry at this point in my life that there was a guy with a bald guy with a tattoo around his head of claws. And I remember like he was just mean mugging me. And I was just like, yo man, we can go outside. I was ready to fight this guy. You'd think because of how laid back and calm I can be, like no, I was ready to like go in, because look at I do come from White City. Like I've had to learn how to throw a punch or two in my life. That is the nature. And like I said before, you let someone walk all over you, they're gonna do it for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Like the part of where I grew up in White City, Shepherd's Bush, there's a lot of people that run their mouths, and then there's people that walk the talk. I was someone who's I was the walk the talk. At that time in my life, I was very angry. Yeah, but
you still have fire in you, you know that.
Yeah, I that's the thing. I took that fire and I turned it into ambition.
I can see, I've seen it in you.
Yeah, like
at different times, I've seen the fire in you.
Yeah, definitely the poetry scene. Like, there's a fire ready to come out, but I control it a little bit. Yeah, I control it. I know how to control it. I put all into my work. Yeah, that's what helped, because I was going through all this stuff at this time in my life. I was working a job I hated, and randomly I woke up one day and I don't know what it was, but I just had a profound interest in words. Something about words just really captivated me. Don't know what it was. No idea where it came from. It just happened. And I feel like that was a gift from the gods, the universe. Like, look, we all know you're talented at performing, so here's something for you. Go down this path now. See where this leads you. And it's led me to perform poetry. I focused on it for a good reason. Yeah. So I would say, long story short, that's like the whole thing that encapsulates the journey of the diagnosis and the mental health and all that.
So when you fell in love with words, and then you now started writing poetry. How's that journey? I want to know from the initial voyage to where we are today.
So how the beginning to now?
Yeah, I want to know for you. Okay, so let's look at this. You was captivated by words, and then you started putting up. You put a poem together. You read some poems. And you knew you liked poetry. Like, what you tell me your story.
So I was I'm a hip hop head. I love rap music. I love it. I've never had this ambition to want to be a rapper. It's just not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. It's not who I am as a person. But being a really big fan of hip hop and rap and the storytelling aspect, and then having this profound interest in words, and then just randomly one day I was on my laptop on YouTube, and it came up in the recommended section of a poet called Lemon Anderson, of a poem Lemon Anderson, Where I'm From, and it's on Def Jam Poets. And I saw it, and the way this guy was performing his poem, I was like, what is that? That it's like rap, but it's like acting at the same time. And it was like, how if he can do this, how can I find a way to fuse these two things that I have a love in, like acting, performing? And then I found out, that's what performance poetry is. And then I started to slowly write a poem which was autistic artistic. That was the first poem I ever wrote. And I think when you saw me performing, it says that, I think that might have been the first time I ever performed it.
Seriously?
One of the first times, maybe the second or third time I performed it, because that was
polished, man.
Thank you. That was because all I was doing, because at that time in my life, I was working a job I hated. I didn't have any friends. I was heartbroken. I was suicidal. I was essentially in a cold abyss of loneliness. And I was doing my utmost to get the hell out of it. And the only way I could do that was through performing. That was my therapy. Like what boxing is to Mike Tyson, or what painting was to Van Gogh, performing is for me. That what it was. And it goes back to the whole dance thing. When people were telling me how to dance, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
When it came to acting, I could do it, but I couldn't fully get into it. But now that I've started writing my own material, I can really go to lengths that I know I can get to. And
Push yourself.
yeah, and push myself, yeah. And it was my biggest motivator, and it was my best friend at times, and it still is. Even now with my performing, my main thing right now is that even though that pain's gone, it's still there a little bit, but my whole shtick right now is thinking of creative ways on how to tell different stories through performing and writing, rather than doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, changing it up.
Yeah.
So I remember you was talking all my legs. You still writing, just working on a one-man show?
Yes.
You still working on that, or have you worked? Where's that?
Performed it last year.
Oh, well done.
A sneak peek, a 45-minute preview at a theatre festival for the Wandsworth Theatre Festival.
Well done. Well done.
It was good. I won an award for it.
Well done.
Which was nice. So
What's it
technically,
called?
the play is called Warrior, and the award was the most moving moment because people left the theatre crying, because it's about my journey through mental health, told entirely in verse, from childhood. So it's got my love for film and cinema, and to my upbringing, where I'm from, to autistic. Yeah, it's got encapsulates all of that, and it was good. But I felt like now that I've performed it, I'm like that. I started writing that when I started writing autistic. It was a thing for me just to focus on. And now that I'm out of that ruckus, out of that mind frame, I don't feel like performing it anymore. I'm like, that's in the past. I'm focused on new chapters now. And I'm working on some things. I've got last couple months ago I performed a new play, a short play at the Hackney Empire.
It was cool.
It was called Paint. And it was about a painter suffering from bereavement. And there was no poetry.
You wrote it?
I wrote it, I performed in it, one-man show. There was no poetry in it. It was straight, just a normal play. It was through a course I was doing. Shouts out Tolu, I can't remember her last name.
Shout out Tolu.
Shout out Tolu.
That's a Yoruba name, Tolu.
Tolu. She's a playwright, and she gave me a foundation into how to construct plays. And I was like, okay. And so, whoa.
Don't worry about that.
Cool.
Can you see it on camera? No, good. Sorry, I'm getting cold and I just
Cool, man.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We're having a bit of mishap in the studio. Going back to so you performed it. She showed you how to structure it. You were saying.
Yeah, she showed me how to structure a play and just how to write it and how to do scenes and whatnot. And I was like, oh, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
Piece of piss. I got this. I can do this. Once I'm shown how to do something in a very simple way, I'm like,
Yeah.
It's second nature.
How's it important to know the formula of doing that stuff? If people are out there trying to write and create stuff, perform, how important it is to find out exactly how it's done. And
Very important. You can. It's always good to do things your own way and have your own style. That's what makes you who you are. But unfortunately, the industry of whatever it is, whether it's acting, dance, it's fickle. There's cogs that are turning that go a certain way, and if you do your utmost to work against it, then it's going to be even more difficult for you to excel. Sometimes it's good to step in, learn how certain things are done, and then step out and do your own thing. And that's what I done. Okay, cool, I know how the formal way of structuring a play is. Now I can take that and do my own thing. So I would say it's highly important for you just to not go against the grain too much at first. Once you've got to a certain level, then fuck off, do your own thing. But at first, stick to the rules a little bit. Yeah. Learn there's a quote, I'm paraphrasing, it's like, learn the rules like a pro so you can break them learn the rules like an amateur so you can break them like a pro, or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Is there anything we want to talk about? 'Cause I want to delve into my...
Go on, delve.
Delve, yeah?
Yeah, delve, man. I'm straight in. Let's see.
But man, I want to ask you something before I go into this year. What do you think about the state of film right now? And you can talk as well, because I'm a person who used to be able to sit down and watch a film. You said Hook. Hook's epic. There's other films like Goonies, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. There's other films. There's films that I used to watch when I was younger. Like, I mean, Angels with Dirty Faces. That's James Cagney. To Serve with Love. That's Sidney Poitier.
East
There's
is Eden.
Russell Crowe. Huh?
East is Eden.
East is Eden.
Yeah, Eastern Eden.
What's the name? It's not
That's James Dean. Yeah, I'm sure.
James Dean. Yeah. There's the whole, like, the guys who've done the Lady Killers. You know, that whole genre of black and white films that I grew up with as well. Casablanca.
Orson Welles. Orson Welles. Brando. Streetcar Named Desire.
See, now you're getting in.
That's no.
Even that though, there's that which is beautiful cinema, amazing fucking films. But then you got what came up when I was coming up as well, like the films you was talking about. The films were still films for me when I was coming up. When I watched the film, I was taken away by a film. I feel like films are like freaking Happy Meals now, certain films. That's how I feel. But what I want to get an answer from you guys and your perspective, because I find it hard now to sit down and really get into a film. There have been films over the past 10, 15, 20 years that I've gone into, and even recently as well. I will say, just off the top of my head right now, obviously Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood, No Country for Old Men was a good film. There's other films that I liked. There's like action films that I've liked as well. But I think a lot of this stuff has gone down the toilet.
Yeah,
from what it used to be to what it is now. But I want you lot's opinion on the state of film, what we're actually getting for our money, and what we're getting for our actual imaginations as well.
I think a major factor that plays is back in those days, technology isn't what it is now. So they had to be practical. They had to be creative. Like, the difference between art being artistic and creative is artistic is the expression, creativity, this is my opinion, artistic is the expression, creativity is the problem solving. Being artistic is the expression, and being creative is the problem solving.
Cool, let me throw this in there with you right now as well, Jody, and for you as well, Mac. Film noir. When I look at international films, they still make good fucking films. This is the same era. We're still living in the same age. They take time with the storytelling.
Yes.
The actors will act. They will have a scene that there's no talking and it will pan.
Yeah,
You'll feel the emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd have to say Hollywood, and then the rest of the world, because the girl with the dragon tattoo, Daniel Craig's one, and then the one,
European one, and then the American.
The European one. Oh my god!
It's the same with
It's a real film. I watched it and I was like, it was a film, man. Go on, sorry, I get excited. I'm getting excited.
No, it's cool.
Go on, you have to talk too much.
So I think that's the state. I think because back in them days, there was no money for technology, so they had to be practical. They had to be creative in the way they expressed themselves to the audience. Now, like, you can just do some CGI. Like if you do Lawrence of Arabia, like, he's actually giving a speech to like 1,000 extras. Now, if you've done Lawrence to Arabia, it'll be giving a speech to a green screen. So you wouldn't feel that force of the energy, the people. You know? And I think that's a major factor, because audiences aren't stupid. They know when they see CGI. They know when something's really truly being done. They know when a word's being said and when a word is being spoken to them. That's the main thing. Especially I see this a lot in the poetry community. I see a lot of people saying stuff, but I don't see a lot of people speaking stuff. Sorry, shots fired. Counsel me. Yeah, sorry. Do what you want.
Say it again, though. Say it again.
Say it again.
Say it
I see
again.
a lot of
Say it
people
again.
saying stuff, but I don't hear anything being spoken. That's one of my main issues with the poetry scene. Like, sorry, not sorry. Shoot me, counsel me. Do what you want.
No one is going to do nothing because you're entitled to your
Exactly.
opinion. And
Exactly.
That's it. No one can tell you nothing about your opinion, bro.
100. So, I think that
And I concur with that too.
Yeah, back to cinema. I think that's one of the main issues. But if you're a big film fan and you want to see films, what films are, the production company A24, phenomenal.
A24.
Yeah, you know about A24, don't you?
No, I need to.
A24.
A24.
They make movies for movie heads. In the last 10 years, they've slowly been building up, but then they were an independent film studio, and they've come out with some of the best movies of the past 10 years. I mean, Sound of Metal, like, so many great films.
Say something, so I don't know.
Oh God, what film? Iron Claw, that came out recently about wrestlers. That's
That's with what's his face?
Zac Efron.
Yeah.
The Sound of Metal, which is Riz Ahmed, which he was nominated an Oscar for. Moonlight by Barry Jenkins, which has.
I'm going to watch Iron Claw, but I'll watch it now.
Yeah, it's good. Which has Mahershala Ali in it. Oh my lord, Midsummer, which is another psychological thriller with Florence Pure, something like that. So many good films. They make films for the film heads, for the film buffs.
Is it Jake Gyllenhaal? What's that guy? Is it?
Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah, he's done films for them as well.
I still like him. He done Donnie Darko, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
But I still like him in the new Roadhouse. Have you seen the new Roadhouse?
I've not seen it because it got slated apparently.
It's a joke, no. But go on, you said
I don't know. Like when I hear a film that's done that bad, I kind of don't want to watch it. I don't want to waste my time.
You got to watch it because I liked it for what I liked it for. It was tongue in cheek. There's loads of.
Wasn't it paying homage to like old action films, like Jean-Claude Van Damme films, and those old school action films, like aren't necessarily good movies, but they're cult classics.
Do you know what? You can't. The original Roadhouse. You can't. You Patrick Swayze and they done so well. I can watch Roadhouse now and it's still good. However, I liked Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in the film. So it wasn't so much the film. The film is full of nonsense. But what his character and how he played his character, that's for me, that's what I mean. Like, I could get actors who still have gravitas and still give me the business. Even if the business they're giving me is like in the midst of bullshit, they're still that character.
Yeah.
And I can identify with certain nuances they do and the way they carry themselves and the way they tell the story. His story from beginning to end, when they done the reveal of why he behaved how he behaved, I totally identified with it and I loved it. Yeah. And I just like him as an actor because I think he's just...
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's great.
There's other people who I will watch. There's people I can't watch anymore. Like I used to be able to watch them, but I can't because they've just sold out. So yeah, let me not. Let's get into these.
Cool.
Let's get into these. But you can carry on talking about film. You haven't said anything about film, sir.
Yeah, I just think anything with technology involved in it has kind of lost the feel and the essence for it.
It can help, but when you rely on it too much,
that's all I think.
Can I ask? That's all you think? I'm going to get the wizard to talk more in the future because the wizard knows about film. The wizard's the guy who does all the technical stuff. I know nothing about cameras, God.
This is why I think Christopher Nolan is one of the greatest filmmakers ever, because even
name his films.
In his films, The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, Oppenheimer, Interstellar, Inception, Memento. It goes on, man.
Inception, Memento. Yeah, I'm thinking of what I was saying. Yeah.
It goes on. Tenet. It goes.
I haven't seen Tenet. I don't think.
The Tenet's really good. It's at the when you first watch it, you're like, what's this? But if you go back to it, you're like, it's ahead of its time. Tenet. It's a very ahead of its time film. But Christopher Nolan, he uses practical effects. Like Dunkirk, he uses very.
Dunkirk. I need to watch that as well.
He uses practical effects because he doesn't want to bullshit the audience. Yeah. Like if you watch The Dark Knight, when you see the scene where that giant truck does like a flip, and like that's an actual truck flipping. Yeah. Like that's no joke.
That's when Batman just gets a Joker, isn't it? That's when he gets a Joker finally, and he takes him to the cell. That's what he gets.
Exactly. And like when there's certain stunts they couldn't do, instead of using CGI, they just used control cars. Like that's a great idea. That's really smart. Like that's creativity. Like so, Christopher Nolan's great. I feel like I'm related to him because we have the same last name. Yeah.
Come on.
Hit me up, Chris. If you watch this, hit me up, man.
Nolan,
hit me up. I could be your cousin.
Come on.
Come on. Please hit me up.
I like that. We're gonna flash through these cards.
Cool.
And see where we get to. All right. If you were a colour, what colour would you be and why?
Black. No.
Black. Oh man! I identify with you so much as well. Let's do this.
My intuitive thought kicked in on that one. What colour would I be and why?
I think you are, mate.
No, yeah.
I think you are, yeah. Just like how Eminem is, you know what I'm saying?
Opposite Oreo. What colour would I be and why? God. I actually don't know, man. That's a good one. No, screw it. I'd just be pink. I'd be out there, man. I'd just be completely out there. You're going to be any colour. Might as well be. Why?
Yeah.
It would grab people's attention. Okay. Yeah, it would just like... Okay. I wouldn't say I'm the most like masculine of them all. So I like to fuck with people a lot. Yeah, so like if I'm pink, I'm like, hi. I'll just fuck with people all the time. I don't care.
Come on, good. Tell me something about you no one knows.
Oh God! Tell me, no one knows. I'm actually quite a shy person, believe it or not. You might not think at first.
Have you seen him perform? Go on.
When you meet me at first, I'm to myself. I'm quite shy. I'm quite conservative and reserved. You have to just get to know me a bit because I've, not to be like a pity party, but I have been stabbed in the back a lot. I have gone through my own mental health journey. So at the end of the day, the most important thing to me is me.
Yeah.
Like people can be, oh, that's selfish. It's selfless. Fuck off. Like in this world, you've got, at the end of the day, you only got yourself to focus on. So I'm quite a reserved, shy person. Once you get to know me, I'm a different cat. But at first, I'm very shy.
Yeah.
Just let me be. Don't be discouraged by it.
I fucking like you. You know that already. I have to say it again. I want to ask you something before I ask this question on the page, though. What would your advice be to those artists that are speaking the words and not saying the words? I'm not sure how you phrased it.
Yeah.
But what would your advice be to those? Because people are out there doing the poetry, and what the words that I think they're speaking, there's a lot behind them. If they actually give them a chance to breathe,
push. Yeah.
Yes. What would your advice be to someone?
Just do it. You know, like when I took my first ever drama class, I knew when I was in this point in my life, I wanted to really give acting a go, but I was still quite shy. But I knew if I don't do this, at that time in my life, I was doing nothing. So if I didn't give it my all, I'm going nowhere. So I just, in the class, in the audition, they just wanted me to shout. So I just shouted. So I would say to anyone, go to a secluded place and just scream. Just shout. Whatever the poem it is you've got and you just want to let it all out, go to a secluded place and just shout the words out. Have an idea of how loud and how soft you can get. Get a good idea of your own tempo, and then you can play with it. You know, just experiment. But don't be discouraged. Don't force yourself not to go 110. Just give it a go at least, because you never know, something might come of it. And once you have an understanding, your own confidence will build off that. So just do it. Go to a secluded place, the poem you've written, and shout it.
Shout it out.
Just do it. And that can be actually quite therapeutic as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of traditions in different cultures where going into a forest and just shouting helps. It gets a lot off. So yeah, to give it.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I was screaming all the fucking time. I don't even like it. But I want to add to what you said. Definitely concur with what Jody's just said. Jody Nolan, right?
Yeah. Nolan Greenwood.
But on top of that, you've already done the hard part. You've poured your emotion onto the page.
Exactly.
You've written it. You've gone on stage to share it with people. So you might as well go the rest of the way.
Like you've done all that work and you get up and you're like, oh yeah, I've got this poem. Like, no, come on, say it. Like if you're doing a poem about like how someone's hurt you, tell them how they've hurt you. Like don't be like, oh yeah, this person broke my heart. Like no, this person broke my fucking heart. Like fuck them. Tell them. Let them know how you feel, because people gravitate towards that because it is truth.
It's your truth, yes.
It's your truth.
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
In every art, I believe, should be truthful. Like, you can use a misdirection and lie, but it always goes back to truth. I believe that all art has to have some type of meaning to it. Even if the poem or art, whatever it is meaningless, that said it's meaning. The meaning is that it's meaningless. Just be truthful to who you are as a person. If you're hurt, talk about how hurt you are. Of course, like, choose the audiences. No, like, don't just trauma spew for the sake of doing it. Be conscious of who's in the audience, like trigger warnings and all that.
Trigger warnings, definitely.
But be careful, but then again, just give it a go. You don't know what's gonna come to your life or come from it when you give something a go.
Yeah.
How do you know if you're gonna jump in the deep? How do you know if you're gonna sink or swim if you're not gonna jump in the deep end? And when you do that, you might just end up walking on water.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we say that again.
So how do you know if you're gonna sink or swim unless you jump in the deep end? But you might. How do you know if you're gonna jump? How do you know if you're gonna sink or swim unless you jump in the deep end? But at that point, you might walk on water.
Come on, and I love it because you're helping me. I'll add to that again. Use the words. If you say a word, use the word. Words mean things, like you said. If you're saying hate, say hate. If you're saying love, say love.
Exactly.
Say the words. Use the words.
Say it. Yeah.
Use the words. What's your definition of greatness?
My definition of greatness.
So that's our next. That's our next guy. That's why he's looking so intense.
Okay, cool. My definition of greatness. It's interesting. My definition of greatness is just someone that's respected. I wouldn't say I aspire to be great. I aspire to be respected by my peers. Like, and the same thing as like my idea of success. I don't aspire to be rich and famous. I aspire just to pay my bills, doing what I enjoy. Like, I'm a very simple person. Like, I don't need to be great. Like, I know within myself I need to be great, because how can you achieve greatness without knowing you're first great? Like someone said to me recently, who do you think is the best poet in the scene? And I think they were expecting me to say it's this person, that person. I said me. Yeah. Why am I gonna go around saying someone else is better than me? Make that make sense.
It's the right answer.
There's no one better than me in the scene. I'm the best in the scene. Let's see what you got. You don't like it? Send shots. I don't fucking care. Okay, bring it. Fucking send shots at me. I'll send ether back. I'm not scared of you.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Like, my idea of greatness is being the truest person you can be.
Yeah.
Being your authentic self.
Yeah.
My idea of great is being the man that I wish there was when I was a kid.
Wow.
I'll say that again. Being the man I wish there was when I was a kid.
Yeah, as in your father figure.
Yeah, my father figure. Like, my dad was around, but he wasn't around, you know? Like, same thing with my brother. All respect to him. He went off and done his own thing because that's his life. He had his own greatness to fulfill. And I get it, but my idea of great is being the person that I wish there was when I was a kid. Nice. I wish there is for someone.
Nice. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
By my mum, you are not a follower, you are a leader. Yeah. Best advice, so simple. Like again, going against the grain, she's always said to me, you are not a follower, you are a leader. It basically, do your own thing.
Nice.
Fuck what anyone else thinks.
You got the swears in now, ain't you?
Sorry, yeah.
Fuck it, come on. I'll give you the wait, someone there, 1 point in. I fucking love that. What's the worst advice you've ever been given?
You are a leader. No, no. Worst advice I've ever been given. Oh, that's a good one. Oh god, that's a good one. Because whenever someone's given me bad advice, I've kind of just blocked it out and not remembered it. Because I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. Actually, yeah. No, god, that's a good one. Worst advice that's ever been given. No, I can't say that. Because that I will be I'll get cancelled if I say that. Definitely the poetry scene. Worst advice I've been given. Actually, you know what? Like, something like just do what they do. Like, stick to the crowd. Like I think it was probably from like childhood when someone said to me like yeah, it was like there was a girl and someone said to me like there was a girl looking at me. And like, you know, when girls like you because they'll give you that look. There's always that sign. And I remember saying,
trust them.
Yeah, I remember saying to a friend like, oh, I think that girl is interested in me. She keeps looking at me, and he was like, don't do it. She's out of your league.
Oh wow. I'm
like, don't do it. She's out of your league. I'm like, what? What do you mean she's out of my league? Yeah. I went over and talked to her, and I got the number. It was like, I didn't listen to you, bro. Like, like sometimes people that are in your corner really aren't. They're just jealous of you. They're just envious of you. They're waiting for their chance to stab you in the back.
That's poignant.
Yeah. So like, the worst advice I was given was by those closest to me, which is quite interesting, really. The best advice.
Those who were closest to
you,
the furthest away from you.
Exactly. So yeah, that was probably the worst advice.
Right, we're not going to do that one. We're going to do...
Let's go into the juicy ones, just the juicy ones.
Just the juicy ones. What advice would you give to your younger self? So we're on the advice trail now. Worst advice, best advice. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Follow your heart. If you want to do it, just do it.
Okay. If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
A fox.
Why? Why?
A fox, because they're quite shy and timid. I think they're beautiful creatures in general, and because the whole gingerness. But they're quite
ginger.
Yeah, strawberry blonde ginger. I was as bright as an orange as a kid. They're very shy and calm and timid creatures, but there's a ferociousness to them.
Intelligent too.
Yeah, they're very intelligent creatures. They're like spiritually, they're a sign of intelligence and wisdom, and they're beautiful creatures. And they're quite elegant in the way they move, and they're very cunning, and they're family, like they're
family orientated.
very family orientated,
Yeah.
and they'll do what they have to do to survive, but they won't be like nasty about it. Like I saw a fox recently. It was a beautiful thing. Like I was doing this to the fox, and it came up to me, and I gave it a stroke. It was just a baby fox. It was a baby fox, and I gave it a stroke. And so it's a very cute thing, but I see a lot of myself in the fox. It's a very nice, calm, cute thing, but like, don't piss them off, man. They'll eat you alive if they need to.
I'd stay well away from them. But yeah, I'm scared of foxes. I'm telling you honestly, Fox followed me one day. I had food in my bag. Man, late at night, so you know that late at night.
At night, that's their feeding time.
Yeah. House with food and the food. I'm like, what's the things? You know, they sit in the road and they would start following me. But it's like, boom, and I realized I had food in the bag. I had to be like, and start. Cause I didn't want it. It stopped. It was following me. I thought I was on the menu.
Have you heard them mating before?
Of course you had.
Yeah, that's fucking man. The way they mate, I'm like, yo, he's just screaming.
They're
It's
getting it in.
no pun intended.
Right. We've got these last 3 questions. So pet hates, because we didn't understand what it was at the beginning, but now we understand.
Sensitive. People that are sensitive. Right? Like we really live in a time right now where people just can't take up.
So
fucking
hypersensitive.
yeah.
It's allowed to be sensitive.
Yeah.
It's allowed to be sensitive.
But hypersensitive, like so soft about things. Like I just certain I don't know, performance. Okay, you know what? This is something that's been on my mind for a while, and I was writing on my way here. I'm gonna put this in a poem. I'm gonna call this organization out. I'm gonna call this organization out. I'm gonna send shots of this because they really upset me. They really annoyed me.
Who?
I'm not gonna say. I'll say off camera because I'm gonna wait for the
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because we have to cut it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. You could say how you felt, though, why you felt like.
So I performed a poem. I performed a poem about men's and mental health, whatever, like empowering it and how difficult it can become, whatever. And they called me up the next day saying, look, we had someone complain about your poem. They said they felt uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, what part did they feel uncomfortable about? And it's like, oh, we don't know. It's like, well, how do you know they're just not lying?
They called you up.
Yeah, how do you know they're just not lying? It was like, oh, well, we don't. Well, how make that make sense then? And
Why would they phone you though?
Yeah, and then I asked them, so what's going to happen with future events? And they said, oh, we'll be in contact. So I said, so that's code for blacklisted. You're not going to get in contact with me, are you? Oh, no, we'll be in contact. They've not been in contact with me. But this is the bullshit bit. The performer that was up before me, she done a poem about men and how they're assholes and like really demeaning men.
And you've seen her back on the same platform again.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything to her. Like it's perfectly acceptable for her to talk about men, but it's unacceptable for me to talk about men's mental health. So
this is the world we live in.
So that to me is that whole sensitive outlook and like no,
it's not good.
Like you can bleep this if you want, but I'll say this right here. Fuck you, Sofa Sound. I don't care.
Who's that?
Sofa Sound. They're one of the biggest performer like organizations in the country, and they just they essentially banned me because my work's not PC. I'm sorry that I'm not gonna kiss people's ass. I'm not. That's not who I am as a person.
I hear you. I'm not gonna ban you.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. And I just thought that was a bit outrageous. And they've done it to other people, not just me. I'm not gonna name who, but I think it's.
I mean, if you wanna, for me, I don't know nothing about this organization. First time I heard about it, but if you're gonna have an art form that is expressive and it's part of you that you're giving, and you proclaim first, you might say there's trigger warnings, you may apologize prior to it and post it. I don't think anyone should be banned for anything.
No, definitely not.
If I'm given the opportunity to apologise to the person that I've hurt, if I understand the words that have caused distress or trauma to anybody, then I can address that. If I'm not even given the opportunity to address that, how can I even rectify in the future? So as a entity, I think that was dealt with in the wrong way by them. But
I even said to them, I said to them, so this isn't part of the ethos of the organization. Like, yeah, cool. I was like, all right, fine. Next time it will be completely different. Now I know, but they didn't give me a next time.
yeah, so it's their loss.
It's completely their loss.
Their loss.
And like I'm working on a poem now where like this is what everyone's thinking, but no one's saying. So screw it. I'm gonna say it.
Oh, might as well. We're all gonna die anyway.
Exactly.
So, all right, let's do this one next. You don't say you want to live forever either. If we had one wish, what would it be and why? I've got one more question for you after this. If you had one wish, what would it be and why?
Honestly, I think it's the basic one, but just to have money, to be not rich, but to be financially stable, so I can focus on my art full time.
Okay, I like that. Would you say to me? Cool. One more question. One more question. This is rushing me on as well now. All right, last question. What is the most important lesson you've learned in your journey?
Do what makes you happy. Just do what makes you happy. Like I come to understand that I am a creature of self-expression, and I need to do what my heart tells me to do. Like there's certain times in my writing and performing where I've really had to bite my tongue, especially in the poetry scene, bite my tongue and champion through. And now I've kind of like this whole thing with Silver Sound, I'm not caring anymore. Like, because there might be people that really benefit from it. Even with all of my other work, like I do poems and I have people coming up to me and like being open, and the only way they're doing that is by the only reason they're being open to me is because I'm being open to myself. I'm being who I am. I'm being authentically unorthodox. I'm being Jody. I'm being me. I'm being my mother's son. I'm being
Francis.
Yes, Francis.
Yes.
I'm
Get
being,
in there.
I'm being my mother's son. I'm being my most true self. I think that's important to anyone. It's once you're able to unlock who you are as a person, life can become 10 times much more fun. So much more interesting once you understand who you are as an individual.
We're gonna finish on that. Once you can understand who you are as an individual, life becomes so much more fun.
Yeah.
Jody Nolan, that was
Greenwood.
epic, huh?
Jody Nolan Greenwood.
Sorry, Jody Nolan Greenwood. You never told me the Greenwood though.
Yeah,
That's
it's cool, man. It's cool.
Help me, like mate. I really fucking enjoyed that.
Yeah, man.
Bring yourself over here, man. I really enjoyed that, buddy. That was nice, man. Serious.
Thank you.
Jody Nolan Green.
Peace.
I'm Fawole. The Woody Wizard behind the camera. Behind any questions. And that was Live Talks. All you gotta do is listen. Everyone's story is poignant. Open up your ears. Be nice. Spread love. Bye. My man. Thank you.
That was fun. That